Topic 6. Geopolitical risk. Geopolitical risk refers to the uncertainty arising from political events, international conflicts, government policies, regulatory changes, trade disputes, sanctions, diplomatic tensions, technological competition, and shifts in global power structures that can materially affect business operations and financial performance. In an increasingly interconnected world, geopolitical developments have become major drivers of corporate strategy, capital allocation, supply chain management, investment decisions, and enterprise resilience. For modern chief financial officers, CFOs, geopolitical risk management is no longer a specialized concern, but a core strategic responsibility that directly influences long-term value creation and organizational sustainability. Leading executive education programs increasingly emphasize geopolitical awareness as an essential leadership capability. Senior executives are expected to develop strategic foresight, understand global political dynamics, and integrate geopolitical analysis into business planning, investment evaluation, and risk management to strengthen organizational resilience in an increasingly volatile international environment. Geopolitical risks arise from multiple sources. Trade disputes and protectionism can alter tariffs, market access, and supply chain economics. Military conflicts and regional instability may disrupt logistics networks, commodity markets, and investor confidence. Economic sanctions and export controls can restrict international transactions, freeze assets, and limit access to critical technologies or financial systems. Political instability, regulatory changes, elections, and government intervention may create uncertainty for multinational corporations operating across multiple jurisdictions. In addition, technology competition, cybersecurity threats, and strategic competition between major economies increasingly shape global business conditions. For CFOs, geopolitical risk directly affects financial performance through several channels. Supply chain disruptions increase production costs and inventory requirements, while commodity price volatility affects margins and working capital needs. Currency fluctuations influence international revenues and expenses, and changes in interest rates or sovereign risk premiums alter financing costs and investment valuations. Cross-border taxation, capital controls, and sanctions may restrict financial flexibility and international expansion. Consequently, geopolitical developments increasingly influence budgeting, forecasting, treasury management, and strategic planning. One of the most significant impacts of geopolitical risk is on global supply chains. Over the past decade, organizations have recognized that highly optimized global sourcing models may create vulnerabilities during political crises or trade disruptions. As a result, many companies have adopted strategies such as supplier diversification, regionalization, nearshoring, friendshoring, and strategic inventory management to improve operational resilience. Finance leaders evaluate these initiatives by balancing efficiency against resilience, recognizing that slightly higher operating costs may significantly reduce long-term business risk. Scenario planning and stress testing have become essential tools for managing geopolitical uncertainty. Rather than relying on a single economic forecast, organizations develop multiple geopolitical scenarios that examine potential disruptions, such as trade embargoes, armed conflicts, cyber attacks, regulatory changes, or currency crises. CFOs assess the potential financial impact on revenue, profitability, liquidity, capital expenditure, debt capacity, and enterprise value under each scenario, allowing management to develop contingency plans before disruptions occur. Treasury management also plays a central role in geopolitical risk mitigation. Currency hedging, diversified banking relationships, liquidity reserves, multi-currency financing structures, and regional cash management strategies help organizations maintain financial flexibility during periods of instability. CFOs increasingly integrate geopolitical intelligence into foreign exchange management, debt issuance timing, investment planning, and capital allocation decisions. Geopolitical risk is closely linked with enterprise risk management, ERM, and corporate governance. Boards of directors increasingly expect executive teams to monitor geopolitical developments continuously, identify emerging risks, and communicate their potential strategic implications. Organizations establish risk dashboards that integrate geopolitical indicators alongside financial, operational, cybersecurity, climate, and regulatory risks to support enterprise-wide decision-making. Digital transformation adds another dimension to geopolitical risk management. Artificial intelligence, cybersecurity threats, data sovereignty regulations, semiconductor supply chains, and digital infrastructure have become strategic assets subject to government policy and international competition. CFOs must therefore evaluate digital investments not only from financial perspectives, but also from geopolitical resilience considerations, including technology dependencies, cybersecurity preparedness, and regulatory compliance. Geopolitical uncertainty also creates strategic opportunities. Organizations that anticipate regulatory shifts, reposition supply chains early, diversify geographic exposure, or invest in emerging regional markets may strengthen competitive advantage, while competitors struggle to adapt. Finance leaders therefore support strategic flexibility by maintaining balance sheet strength, investment capacity, and capital allocation discipline that allow rapid responses to changing global conditions. The Global Competency Framework identifies macroeconomic analysis, strategy, market understanding, ecosystem management, and risk management as essential competencies for finance professionals. Executive-level finance leaders are expected to evaluate external environmental forces, anticipate emerging risks, interpret their impact on business strategy, and provide strategic insights that support organizational resilience and long-term value creation. In today's environment of geopolitical fragmentation, technological rivalry, and economic uncertainty, geopolitical risk management has become a permanent element of corporate strategy rather than an occasional contingency exercise.